We are ready with the Maestro Stage. Let me just quickly look and see if I can test out some settings here for one moment as we're getting this going. Good. Okay. I'm going to go to the overhead view. This is the Maestro Stage, and today we're going to be talking about creative composition. The first week of every month in our weekly online group piano lessons that I teach, we focus on learning the cool song and essential piano exercises. The second week, we focus on theory therapy. The third week, we focus on innovative improvisation. And then the fourth week, we focus on creative composition. Now, I just barely finished doing the live piano lesson for the Apprentice Stage. Those of you who attended, thank you. Those of you who are watching this live or watching the rebroadcast, thank you for watching. Right now, this is for the Maestro Stage. I do 3 separate weekly online group piano lessons that I teach every week on Thursdays. And we have students all over the world who attend these weekly group online piano lessons. And I teach music theory the fun way, but I help them learn what I refer to as the practical application of music theory. Now, the fourth week of every month, we focus on creative composition. That's what we're doing right now. I'm actually going to go to the overhead view and I'm going to show you how to compose at an intermediate level. We just finished doing the beginner level. Now we're going to start composing at an intermediate level. So let me go to the overhead view and show you what I'm talking about. When we are composing at the piano, we can do melodic compositions, which is focusing on a melody line first. We can do harmonic compositions, focusing on harmony, and we can do holistic compositions where you focus on both the melody and the harmony at the same time. Now, for fun, what I want to do, this is intermediate level. I want to show you how to take the full C major scale. So we could take the entire C major scale and start to create a melody. Now, we could do both hands. We can go up and down. I'm just going to take these notes. You don't have to go in order. You can play them any order you want. What if I started with the G instead of starting with the C? What if I started with the G and I did this? Sometimes I'll tell students start with 3 notes and then go to 4. So what if I did this? Okay. What if I took these 3 notes, 4 notes right here, and I start to play around with them? I'm going to start up here just for fun. My left hand, I'm going to do an octave interval. Sometimes I will have students start with a major scale, and then I will have them do the scale as an octave interval. Now, you can do this in every key signature, and sometimes it's helpful to have the students practice moving up chromatically in half steps. When I say chromatically, from one key to another, you have half a step. A whole step is where you have a key in between. So if I move up in half steps, this is known as the chromatic scale. If I do a perfect fifth interval, I'm moving up in half steps. I can do the same thing as an octave interval, where I move up in half steps, just going up chromatically in half steps. It's a very good exercise to practice because what we are going to do is we are going to have the left hand, for now, just do octave intervals, okay? And we're going to jump around based on the chord progression. So with my right hand, I'm going to take, I liked when I was saying these notes. Remember, I'm just going to start with C to C, just these notes right here. We have 8 of them. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're only going to focus on those notes and try to create a melody. What if I started with the E and played E, then G, then A, then C? Now, it doesn't matter what order I play them, but I can create a melody. What if I went down from C and played C, A, G, E? Now, I'm composing something. I'm creating something on the spot. My left hand, all I'm doing with my left hand is I'm actually coming down and doing an octave interval. And I started on C, and then I jumped to the F, and then I went to the A, and then I went to the G. The chord progression is 1, 4, 6, 5. I usually tell students, and again, we're creating these from the C major scale, where we have C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, B diminished, C major. Now 1, 4, and 5, these are known as primary chords. They are the major chords. We have C major, we have F major, and G major. Those are the primary chords, and it's the primary chord progression we learn. And you can do that in every key. And you can go through every key signature practicing the primary chords 1, 4, 5. Well, if 1, 4, and 5 are the primary chords, then 2, 3, 6, and 7 are the secondary chords. They're referred to as the secondary chords because you use the primary chords primarily when you are composing something that is a major sounding song. I would use 1, 4, and 5 more frequently than I would use the 2, 3, 6, and 7. Now, the 7 is a diminished chord. Sometimes I tell students it kind of sounds like a demented chord. Okay. The diminished chord actually creates some great harmonies, but sometimes it doesn't work because you'll play a 1 chord, go to a 6 chord, go to a 4 chord, then go to the 5 chord, then you'll go to a 2 and a 3, 4, 5, and then you throw in a 7, and it just sounds out of place. If you don't know how to use the 7th chord, and oftentimes you won't use the 7th chord as frequently because it does have it's a diminished chord, but it does have almost a demented, deranged sound. Now, if you're composing Halloween music, go for it. Or music about people being abducted by aliens or whatever. I mean, go for it. That's a great chord to use because it has this strange characteristic. But in a typical song, I tell students use the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chord frequently and the 7th infrequently. Don't use it very much. But let's just say for fun that with my left hand, I'm just going to follow a progression. I'm going to follow the 1, but I'm only doing octave intervals with my left hand. This is an octave interval of the 1, C. Remember, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So I'm going to start with 1. Then I will go to 4. Then I will jump up to the 6. And then the 5. See that? 1, 4, 6, 5. Then I'll throw in 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, again, you wouldn't pull your fingers back like this. This is just for demonstration purposes so you can see the notes better. You would keep your fingers nice and curved. So it's 1, 4, 6, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's what I'm doing with my left hand. I'm just going to start off with the left hand holding maybe for 1 or 2 measures. I don't know. I'm just playing around, but this is what I'm doing with my left hand. Again, we're just composing on the spot. This is all about creative composition. So my left hand, again, the chord progression is going to be 1, 4, 6, 5, then 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it with my left hand. And you can go down or up. You're the composer, so you can compose how you want. I'm starting here with the C octave interval, and then I'm going up to the F, up to the A, down to the G. Then I'm going to go down to the D, play E, F, and then play the G. If I want, I can play the G again. It just sounded like it needed it. And then I'll go back to the C again. That's all I'm doing. 1, 4, 6, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I'll drop down to the 5. Pretty simple, not too difficult. With the right hand, I had talked about taking any of these notes from the C major scale. What if I took these notes right here? This is E, G, A, and C. Technically, it's a C sixth chord in first inversion. Here I have C, E, G, A. That's a C sixth chord in root position. If I put the C up on top, if I drop it from the bottom and I add it up here on the top, that's a C sixth chord first inversion. If I put the E up on top, now it's going to be a C sixth chord second inversion. Root, first inversion, second inversion. If I put the G up on top, then it's going to be third inversion. See that? And if I put the A on top, then we're back to root position. Okay? That is why I encourage students to really know all of their essential piano exercises, scales, and chords. From this book, as an example, I'm just going to come back here into, we've got all of the different chords in all keys, in all inversions. What I just played for you after we get past the triads, there it is. It's all of the sixth chords. This is what I just played for you right here. In the first two measures, we have the C sixth chord, root position. First inversion is E, G, A, C. Second inversion is G, A, C, E. Third inversion is A, C, E, G. And then we're back up to root position, C, E, G, A. And then we can come back down. You can break it apart. Okay, this is just from my book, Essential Piano Exercises Every Piano Player Should Know. The paperback version is available on Amazon. The PDF version is available from my website, and you can buy the spiral bound version from my website. But let me just take the C6 chord, first inversion. We're going to break it apart. I'm going to start at the top and come down. I'm just playing C, A, G, E. My left hand, if you remember the chord progression, and of course this tests my memory because I say one thing and then I think, okay, what did I tell them? But it was C. We start with C, the 1, and then we went to F, then A, then G, then 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I jump down to the 5 below. So again, it's 1, 4, 6, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I dropped down and did the 5 below. So watch this with my left hand. Simple progression. It's a simple chord progression. With the right hand, I'm just going to play around with that C sixth chord, C, E, G, A, but we're doing first inversion, E, G, A, C. And I'm just going to play around rhythmically, kind of however I want. I actually embellished the left hand even more. Sorry to throw everyone off. I just felt inspired in the moment. Instead of just doing the simple chord progression of the octaves, I jumped back and forth, starting on the D. Then I went to E. Then I went to F. And then I went to the G. So I was doing the 2, 3, 4, 5, following that chord progression, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, but I did octave intervals, jumping. I was just moved. I felt inspired. So, and you can do that when you're composing, okay? Now, what if I just start playing around with the right hand? I could stay with this, but I could also do this. Now this, technically that's an F major triad. If I add the G, that's the second right here. So this is F add 2, and I could just break that apart. And then I could go back to the E. Okay, I could slide over to the G if I want. Here's a G major triad. If I add the second, this is G, add 2, and then I break it apart. So we could start to play around. Did you see what I did there? So this is a C6 chord, first inversion. Then we have the F add 2 chord in root position, and then I had the G add 2 chord in root position, and I'm just breaking apart those notes. It's very simple. That's all I'm doing with my right hand. Now, how I put the two together, when I had the C octave interval, I did this C sixth chord in first inversion. When I went up to the F with my left hand, instead of staying here, which you can do, it kind of creates an F major seventh chord, a little more jazzy, but I wanted to play the F add 2 chord with the F and just break that apart. Okay. Then when I went up to the A with the left hand, I could go back to this C6 chord, because technically a C6 chord is the same thing as an A minor 7th chord. I know, kind of weird. Chords have dual names: C6 root position, C6 first inversion, C6 second inversion. Then this is C6 third inversion, which is the same thing as the A minor. So that actually fits perfectly. This fits when you have the A. And then here, I did my G add 2 chord with the right hand when I had the G octave interval with the left hand. And then I went back to C. Now, when I hit this D down here, I stayed on the F. And then when I hit the E, I went back to the C6 chord. And then when I hit F, I went back to the F. And then when I hit the G octave interval here, I played the G add 2 chord here broken apart. And it just kind of worked. Let me play it again, and I'm just going to play that chord progression. Now, sorry, I just start adding notes. I'm trying not to add too many notes because I don't want to throw people off, but you can really go to town and start adding other notes. I'm trying to keep it very simple to show you, but as I'm moving with my left hand, I'm changing what my right hand is doing. Now, I could start to embellish and really go to town. What if I wanted to do something like this? Now, you don't have to try this, but you can. I'm going to follow that same chord progression. But I'm going to really embellish the right hand. And instead of just doing this, I may change and do a different inversion and break the notes apart. Watch this. Kind of a basic chord progression, very simple chord progression. It's not too difficult. I'm not trying to trick anyone. I'm not trying to make it seem like it's overly complicated because it's not. All we did 1, 4, 6, 5 chord progression, C major, F major, A minor, G major, and then we threw on D minor, E minor, F major, G major, 2, 3, 4, 5. Have you ever seen people go on some talent show and they sit down and play the piano and someone gives them a phone number and then they create this beautiful song composition on the spot because someone gave them the telephone number and everyone thinks that this person is a genius. Well, really, it's very simple to do. All we do is we take those numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and it becomes a chord progression for us. And that is what we are doing when we are creating this. The left hand just played an octave interval starting on 1, C major. And then we went to 4, F major. Then we went to the 6, A minor. Then we went to the 5, G major. And then we dropped down to the 2, D minor. Then we went to the E minor, 3, and then 4, F major, and 5, G major. 1, 4, 6, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we went back to 1. That was the chord progression. We used everything 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but I omitted the 7th, remember, because the 7th is a diminished, and sometimes if you don't know how to use it correctly, the 7th can sound kind of weird. So that's why I just used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, most of the music today that is composed, it only uses the 1 chord, the 4 chord, and the 5 chord. It's the primary chord progression, C major, F major, G major, or whatever key you're in. If you're in the key of B flat major, then B flat would be the 1, and that would be B flat major. Then your 2 would be C minor, your 3 would be D minor, your 4 would be E flat major, and your 5 would be F major. So in the case of B flat major, if you did your 1, 4, 5, B flat major would be the 1 chord, E flat major would be the 4 chord, and then F major would be the 5 chord. So you can do 1, 4, 5 in every key signature. Most of the music today just uses 1, 4, 5, and then they'll throw in the 6 chord. That's it. I wanted to show you the 2 and the 3. Now, you can do additional things on top of it where you flat the 5 or sharp the 5, or you can do 7th chords, or I mean, there are so many different things you can do. We're going to actually do that next in the Virtuoso stage. We're going to stop this lesson right here, and we're going to go to the Virtuoso stage. Every week, we do 3 separate piano lessons. These are weekly online group piano lessons for the students who have signed up for my weekly online group piano lesson series. We have the Apprentice Stage, we have the Maestro Stage, and the Virtuoso Stage. This right now is the Maestro Stage. I'm going to start the Virtuoso Stage here in a few minutes, and that is much more advanced. And in today's lesson that we're doing for the Virtuoso students, we're going to actually be doing some jazz composing, modal jazz composition. How to start composing in a modal jazz style where the left hand is playing 7th chords and the right hand is playing the modes. I don't play like my Aunt Louise. Whenever I teach modes, I always tell students I don't play like my Aunt Louise. I is Ionian, don't is Dorian, play is Phrygian, like is Lydian, my is Mixolydian, Aunt is Aeolian, and Louise is Locrian. That's how I tell students. It's a simple phrase that I came up with to help students remember the order of the 7 modes. I don't play like my Aunt Louise. Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian, and Locrian. So in our next lesson that's coming up, we're going to be talking about how to start composing in a modal jazz style. It's actually very simple to do, but it sounds amazing. So I'm going to share that in just a minute. But thank you to everyone who attended this live weekly online group piano lesson. If you would like to buy any of my music books, you can buy all of my books on Amazon for the paperback version. On my website, musicmotivation.com, you can buy all of my books as PDF books. I also have studio licenses for piano teachers, that it's a PDF studio license, so then you can print off any of my books for the piano students in your studio. And then I also have spiral bound sets of my essential piano exercise series that you can purchase. But you can also become a customer for life, or you can become one of our essential piano teachers. Those are individuals, either customer for life, non-piano teachers, or essential piano teachers, and they have purchased what I refer to as my lifetime package, where they become lifetime students and they get lifetime access to every course I've created, and they get lifetime access to every PDF book that I create and come out with. So that's something that you can do as well. But I'm going to change over and start the Virtuoso stage. But thank you again for everyone who has watched this live piano lesson. You can visit my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Gerald Simon. You can visit my website, musicmotivation.com, and then listen to any of my music from my albums on Spotify, Pandora, iTunes, Amazon, iHeartRadio. It's available on all streaming sites. So let me know if you have any questions about anything. But thank you again to everyone who attended this live lesson. Hope you have a great rest of your week. Thanks for watching. See you guys. Bye.